system.
Oh, the webcam was up. I don't know why the audio keeps turning off with the webcam.
Technical glitches. Always a fun time. Is it still running or no?
The stream is still running, but the webcam was muted.
Oh, should I start at the beginning?
Yes.
All right. We're going to get good practice. Okay, so today we're going to be doing some readings from the Planetary Society. It's a wonderful organization. If you haven't heard of it, I highly recommend you just Google search Planetary Society. I believe it's .org. Or actually, it's planetary.org is, I think, their actual website. And the article we're going to start with is Your Guide to Venus. So the distance from the Sun is 0.72 times that of the distance of Earth from the Sun. The volume is a little smaller, 0.86 times the volume of Earth. The length of day is 243 Earth days. So for almost an entire year, well, not quite almost, but for over half a year on Earth, that's just one day of Venus going around. So that's a long, long, hot day. The length of the year, the time it would take Venus to actually go around the Sun like Earth, 365. On Venus, it's only 225. So that's very interesting. Their year is shorter than their day. That's kind of fun. All right, facts worth sharing. Venus, the second planet from our solar system, may have had oceans and been habitable to life before being transformed into an inhospitable wasteland. By studying Venus, scientists learn how Earth-like planets change over time and what conditions Earth-sized planets orbiting other stars might be like. So some of those exoplanets might be a lot like Venus. Scientists have predicted that life could currently exist in Venus's upper atmosphere, where some regions have Earth-like temperatures and pressures. So, cloud microbes, why not? Someday, maybe we'll find them. Why study Venus? Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system, even though Mercury is twice as close to the Sun and receives 4 times more solar energy. The reason? Venus' thick carbon dioxide atmosphere causes a runaway greenhouse effect. At the surface, Venus has an atmosphere 50 times denser than Earth, and the average surface temperatures of 470 degrees Celsius, or 878 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. So basically, Venus is wearing a big old furry coat and trapping all of its heat. Venus is currently inhospitable. Maybe, to us. But it wasn't always that way. Missions there have observed granite-like rocks that require abundant water to form. In the solar system's early days, when the Sun was cooler, scientists think the planet may have had liquid water on the surface for 2 billion years, far longer than Mars, which had liquid water for a relatively shorter 300 million years. Water is the key to life as we know it. So, did Venus once have life? If it had all that water, maybe. Scientists, including Planetary Society co-founder Carl Sagan, have predicted that life could currently exist in Venus's upper atmosphere, which has Earth-like temperatures and pressures roughly 50 kilometers, 31 kilometers. Oh, distances. 31 miles above the planet's surface. Their mysterious dark patches absorb more than half the planet's solar energy. Wow, so if it wasn't for those, it would be even worse. In 2020, scientists announced that they had found phosphine, a chemical strongly associated with life in Venus's clouds, though the existence of the signal is currently being reviewed. So a chemical that strongly suggests life, not necessarily the life itself. It could be like the result of something that is caused by life. A lot of times is what they're referring to. Okay. We don't know how Venus transformed from a potentially habitable world to its current hellish state. By studying Venus, scientists learn how Earth-like planets evolve and what conditions exist on Earth-sized exoplanets. Venus also helps scientists model Earth's climate and serves as a cautionary tale on how dramatically a planet's climate can change. Yeah. Looks like a dried up Earth to me. It's still so pretty. I wonder if this is true color. No, this wouldn't be true color. It's not. I don't know. I can't quite tell. I like seeing the true color ones. How we study Venus. Venus was the first planet to be visited by a spacecraft in 1962. NASA's Mariner 2 flew by the planet and discovered it was a hot world with no self-generated magnetic field. The Soviet Union became the world leader in early Venus exploration after that, sending multiple atmospheric probes and as many as 10 landers to the planet. That's a lot of landers. To this day, they remain the only nation to have landed spacecraft on the surface and transmitted both data and images back to Earth. Normally things get crushed. You send something to Venus and because it's wearing that thick coat and heavy pressure, yep, doesn't last long. Due to thick clouds, it is impossible to see Venus' surface without radar. NASA's Magellan orbiter launched in 1990 using radar to map Venus' surface at the highest resolution to date. Magellan revealed that all of the planet's impact craters are formed within the last 700 million years. This implies that Venus' surface was completely reshaped by worldwide volcanic activity in its recent geological past. But exactly what happened is still up for debate. Magellan also found no signs of plate tectonics. On Earth, plate tectonics is a process in which sections of our planet crust glide over the mantle, the rocky inner layer above the core, allowing heat to escape through volcanism. Since we think Venus's interior is similar to Earth's, the lack of tectonic plates means that volcanoes on Venus must work differently than on Earth. The European Space Agency launched the Venus Express orbiter in 2006 by observing hot spots on the surface and changing sulfur dioxide levels in the atmosphere over 6 years. The spacecraft collected the best evidence yet of active volcanism on Venus. Venus Express also discovered granite-like rocks across the planet that require abundant liquid water to form, solidifying the idea of the planet having past oceans. I have to say this, if anyone watches this and you're a Star Trek fan, you know that that hot lava monster that like captures Kirk and has like Abraham Lincoln and like all these bad guys fight each other. I imagine something like that on Venus. Maybe little rock aliens. You never know. Well, you kind of hope. All right, having past oceans. Yeah. Japan's Akatsuki spacecraft is the only probe currently orbiting Venus. It studies Venus's atmosphere and frequencies of light that human eyes cannot see, which helps scientists paint a better picture of what's happening above the planet's surface. These images can be processed to create beautiful enhanced color pictures of the planet. So we're looking at it in like X-rays and radio waves and things like that. Non-visible light spectrum. Only 3 missions have tested Venus in the past 30 years, and many scientists feel new missions are long overdue. 30 years, I'd say so. A spacecraft with a higher resolution radar could help us solve the mystery of how Venus's surface changed within the last billion years. Landers and atmospheric probes which analyze the extent of water may have existed on the surface, what the planet's atmosphere was like, and how it changed into its present day state. So how did it go from possibly being full of water for, I think it said billions of years, to what it is right now? It's important to find these things out because we're all sort of taking turns as far as, the habitable zone goes. Okay, India aims to launch a Venus orbiter called Shakrina, that's pretty, English Venus craft, in 2023, equipped with a radar and infrared camera to map the surface, which remember before I said you can only do it, you can't go there yet. Well, it can't map it that way. The spacecraft has a total of 12 instruments, and India's space agency, ISRO, has called for instrument proposals in which scientists from international space agencies, including NASA, are expected to participate. In February of 2020, coming up, NASA announced the selection of 4 mission concepts that are under consideration to fly as part of the agency's low-cost Discovery program. 2 are Venus missions. That's pretty good. Da Vinci, I'm pretty sure they pronounce it that way. Deep atmospheric Venus investigation of noble gases, chemistry, and imaging plus. Consists of an orbiter and an atmospheric descent probe. The probe would make high precision measurements of trace gases in Venus' atmosphere, helping firmly determine how much water Venus oceans had and how long they existed. And the Veritas. Venus emissivity. I love new words. Radio science, INSAR topography, and spectroscopy. Got that one. This one would have a radar instrument with up to 100 times higher resolution than Magellan. This would give scientists a better handle on Venus geology and evolution, and also why the planet lacks large-scale plate tectonics. Okay. Oh, that's a neat picture. This is from the surface here. The processed and colorized panorama from the Venera 13 lander, the 3rd spacecraft to return images from the surface of Venus on March 1982. We were doing this. Data gaps were filled in by hand. 4 Venera landers remain, the only spacecraft to have returned photos from beneath Venus' obscuring cloud deck. In 1978 and 1982, it's been a while. How can you support Venus exploration? Planetary Society co-founder Carl Sagan once said, "When you're in love, you want to tell the world." Missions to worlds like Venus are dependent upon sustainable public enthusiasm from people like you. You know your audience best. You've got tools to help. Tell the world. Spread the facts worth sharing. Well, there you go. At the top of this article on social media. I got Twitch. Send this page to others using the short URL planetary.org/Venus. Share pretty pictures of Venus. Visit our night sky page. All kinds of things to do. I would really recommend anyone go to this website. I'm very particular about what websites I recommend, but this one's nice. I don't mind it. Visit our night sky page. Find out how NASA picks missions based on the, what is that word?
Decadal survey.
Decadal survey. Okay. Stay up to date on current and future missions by signing up for the downlink our weekly newsletter. Okay, ready to take the next steps as a space advocate? Become a member and find out how you can take action in your community and government. Take Action Center. This is a nice website. I like it. Okay, more articles to read. I pulled one from like a few different categories, so we got a few to get through, and since I wanted to read them, I figure I might as well do it out loud. Ooh, this one's nice. This is what is the habitable zone? It's a very frequently used term in a lot of space articles about, sister Earths or, things like that. So we're going to break it down with the Planetary Society. It's a beautiful picture. They do really well with their images. What is a habitable zone? At a glance, the habitable zone is the not too hot, not too cold region around the star where liquid water can exist on the planet's surface. So too close, it boils, too far, it freezes. It's the just right Goldilocks zone. Liquid water is a key ingredient for life as we know it, so exoplanets in their stars' habitable zones are compelling places to search for life. Or aliens, just say aliens! In certain cases, liquid water can exist outside of the star's habitable zone, such as Europa's subsurface ocean. So it doesn't have to just be limited to searching in habitable zone planets, but it's best. Okay. Out of all the planets, moons, asteroids, and comets in our solar system, only Earth has liquid water on the surface. Is that still true? Okay. We've seen like streamy things coming in and out, which in my opinion, it's pretty close, but okay. I guess it's not always, okay. All right, well, okay. Liquid ocean on its surface and is capable of supporting life, at least as far as we know it. That's because our planet sits on the habitable zone of our solar system. It's far enough from the sun so that all the water doesn't boil away, but close enough that all the water doesn't freeze. One of the most exciting space discoveries of the past few decades is the existence of exoplanets, planets that orbit other stars. Currently, we've identified over 4,000 exoplanets, and there are likely many more. While we love studying all of these worlds, scientists are particularly and understandably interested in the ones that could support life. So if you're unfamiliar still with exoplanet, when you look up in the night sky and you see a star, that star is basically another sun, just it can be bigger or smaller. It's another center of another system that can have, or probably has, its own planets going around it, just like we're going around our star, the sun. Life as we know it requires liquid water, so exoplanets in their star's habitable zones are compelling places to search for life. We sometimes call these exoplanets Goldilocks worlds because they're not too hot and they're not too cold. Earth's average distance from the sun is this number, kilometers, and this number miles. It's very far. Which is also called the astronomical unit, or 1 AU. However, it's important to note that the exoplanet at this distance from its star might not necessarily be in the habitable zone. That's because stars have wide ranges of temperatures. On exoplanets orbiting a cooler star, oh, this is a pretty picture. Do you have it slid down to this picture? Yeah, I like that. Where was I at? Ah, thank you. Water break. You should take a water break too. Okay, so stars have a wide range of temperatures. An exoplanet orbiting a cooler star has to be much closer than an exoplanet orbiting a hotter star for liquid water to exist. So not all stars are as hot or cold or big or small as ours, so depending on the temperature and stuff of the star, a planet would have to be closer. So it's not necessarily it has to be this many miles from the star. It's more it has to be this heated by the star or this cooled by the star. Oh, this is the TRAPPIST-1 system. Oh, this one was exciting. They discovered this, I want to say 4 years ago, maybe? A while ago? Yeah. This was a big one back in the day, 4 years ago, where liquid water might exist. This representation of the TRAPPIST-1 system shows which planets could harbor liquid water. The inner 3 planets are likely too hot, and the outer planet is probably too cold, but the middle 3 planets are just right. But again, that's a star that is cooler, I believe, than our sun. So even though it's in the habitable zone, it is still closer to the star. So I believe those planets, even though they might have liquid water, are also exposed to a lot of the star's radiation because that miles distance is actually closer in order to have the temperature right. So maybe mutant aliens. Red dwarf stars. Red dwarf stars are the most common type of star in the Milky Way. They are smaller and cooler than our sun, with surface temperatures averaging about 3,500 degrees Celsius or 6,380 degrees Fahrenheit. Our sun's surface temperature is about 5,500 degrees Celsius, 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that an exoplanet orbiting a red dwarf must be much closer to its host star. I need to stop explaining things and just read their article. Must be much closer to their host star than the Earth is to the sun in order to be within the habitable zone. Our solar system's habitable zone. While each planet in our solar system is unique, the 8 planets can generally be grouped into 2 different categories. The inner rocky planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, and the outer gas giant planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Earth is the only planet in our solar system's habitable zone. Mercury and Venus are not in habitable zones because they are too close to the sun to harbor liquid water all the time on the surface. However, evidence suggests that the sun used to be much dimmer. Venus may have once had oceans, but its proximity to the brightening sun caused the liquid water to evaporate. The escape of liquid water from Venus's surface may have directly led to the planet's current inhospitable, dense atmosphere. Mars, which is too far from the sun to be in the habitable zone, once had flowing liquid water. Our robotic space missions there have found evidence of ancient lakes and minerals that could have only formed in water. I think hematite is one of them. In 2018, scientists found evidence for a subsurface lake using radar on the European Space Agency's Mars Express spacecraft. Liquid water outside the habitable zone. As evidenced by the possibility for the subsurface lake on Mars, there are ways a planetary body can be far outside the habitable zone and still harbor liquid water. Underneath its icy crust, Jupiter's moon Europa has a liquid ocean that contains more than twice the amount of water on Earth. On Earth's the oceans on Earth, I think is what that's supposed to say. Despite the fact that Europa is significantly smaller than our own planet. Twice the amount of water. That's a lot. We have a lot of water. NASA's Europa Clipper mission will launch in mid-2020s on a mission to determine if Europa's subsurface ocean might support life. Aliens! Space fish! Highest resolution color global view of Europa from Voyager. This is my favorite place in the solar system, by the way. This beautiful, scratchy looking planet, or moon, rather, around Jupiter. I absolutely am mesmerized by thinking about it. Voyager 1 saw Europa only distantly. It took the Voyager to fly by on July 9th, 1979, to reveal the nature of its terrain of ridges and, what's that word?
Cycloids.
Cycloids and cycloids. Is liquid water the only way a planet could support life? Possibly not. As we explore the cosmos, we might find organisms that are wholly different from the carbon-based life we're accustomed to here on Earth. But our search starts by using our Earth as our template. This page was written in March 2020 by Swapana Krishna. Your guide to exoplanets. So if you'd like to learn more about exoplanets, you can click on this and keep going. I'm very tempted to, but I have picked a few more articles from their recommendations. The next one is LightSail 2 enters extended mission phase. I remember when they were talking about the LightSail back during the launch of the Curiosity rover in about 2012, I think. So this has been going on for a little while. I believe this is a special project. I think it might be led or something by the Planetary Society. I know that they're very heavily involved in the LightSail project. So let's go ahead and find out how it's doing, because I haven't really heard much since then, so I'm very excited to learn. This article was written, I'd love to read who wrote these, but I don't see any author bylines or anything. Just the Planetary Society, June 17th, 2020. LightSail 2 enters extended mission phase. 1 year after launching into space, the Planetary Society's LightSail 2 spacecraft has completed its primary mission phase and is embarking on an extended mission to dedicate the further advancing solar sailing technology. Oh, so I guess they built it, it launched, and it's up there right now. The loaf of bread sized spacecraft, oh, that's adorable. The loaf of bread sized spacecraft launched aboard the SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket on the 25th of June 2019. 1 month later, it deployed an aluminized Malar solar sail the size of a boxing ring and used LightSail alone to change its orbit, demonstrating the feasibility of controlling solar sailing from small spacecraft. While sunlight has no mass, it has momentum that can be harnessed for propulsion. LightSail 2 celebrating 1 year in space. You're invited to join Bill Nye, CEO Bill Nye, and the LightSail 2 mission team to celebrate the end of LightSail 2's primary mission and the beginning of the extended operations. That would have already happened. The 25th of June, 2020. During the past year, the LightSail 2 mission team has contributed to optimize the spacecraft's performance and report the results to the space science community. The Planetary Society will now operate LightSail 2 under an extended mission phase, making various operational refinements and studying how the spacecraft's orbit evolves in response. We've learned a lot about solar sailing over the past year, and LightSail 2 still has a lot to teach us. And Planetary Society Chief Scientist and LightSail 2 Program Manager Bruce Betts, during an extended mission, will continue making changes to our sail control software, which will help future solar sail missions optimize their performance. We also plan to test using the sail to intentionally generate additional atmospheric drag, which is a way in which future spacecraft could deorbit themselves, cutting down on the ever-growing amount of space debris. That's going to be important. Ooh, what is this image? LightSail 2 orbital sunrise. Oh, I love it when they show pictures of sunrises from things in orbits in space. It's so nice. Even the ones of, like, you know, when you're on the moon and the Earth comes up. Just anything rising when you're in space is really neat to look at. The sun rises over the horizon in this image from LightSail 2, captured on the 28th of September 2019. That's a pretty sun. The sail appears curved due to the spacecraft's 185-degree fisheye camera lens, but the image has been color corrected and some of the distortions removed. That's really neat. You know, Cisco built a LightSail as well. And it worked. LightSail. LightSail is a citizen-funded project from the Planetary Society to send a small spacecraft propelled solely by sunlight into Earth's orbit. That's really neat. LightSail 2's average orbit altitude, now roughly 707 kilometers, 439 miles, is slowly decreasing. Though the spacecraft orbits Earth higher than the International Space Station, the planet's atmosphere is still thick enough to counteract the thrust gained from solar sailing. Analysis of orbital data shows that LightSail 2's rate of orbital decay is markedly slower in solar sailing mode, when the craft actively positions itself to get a push from sunlight. During some time intervals, the spacecraft even gains enough thrust to briefly overcome atmospheric drag and raise its orbit. The LightSail 2 team has done tremendous work over the past year to optimize the spacecraft's performance and understand how the orbit is evolving, said David Spencer, the LightSail 2 project manager. It's a challenge to orient a large, flexible solar sail in space, I bet. And the data collected during the primary and extended missions will provide critical advancements in solar sailing technology. Extended mission goals. What they'll be up to now. The LightSail 2 extended mission begins the 25th of June 2020. Specific goals include: continue to tune LightSail 2's solar sail performance. Learn more about solar sailing operation through the study of various operational refinement and orbital evolution in response to sail control. I think they're just learning things about how it's sailing. Continue taking pictures for public outreach and engineering analysis, including to study sail boom and spacecraft evolution. Implement deorbit studies of sail dynamics with the sail acting as a drag sail. test the ground-based fault protection algorithm being developed by Purdue University PhD student Justin Mansell. Continue to share information about the mission and what we are learning from it with the technical, I want to say technological. Continue to share information about the mission and what we are learning from it with the technical community and the public through peer-reviewed journal articles, conference presentations, direct contact with future solar sailing missions, web articles, social media, and Twitch live streams, apparently. Liftoff, solar sail. Oh, that's neat. Is this the liftoff? Oh yeah, it went up in, okay, I was gonna say, that's not. But yeah, it went up in the SpaceX rocket. Liftoff of LightSail 2, SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket carrying LightSail 2 and 23 other spacecraft for the U.S. Air Force's STP-2 mission. Lifts off from Kennedy Space Center on the 25th of June, 2019, 2:30 EDT. NASA, Joel Kowski. After a year in space, LightSail 2 remains healthy, except for a few minor problems. Images show, I think this image down here, images show one of the tape measure-like sail booms has buckled, and an analysis of shadows from the spacecraft's solar panels shows that one panel is not fully deployed. Neither of these issues has greatly impacted LightSail 2 solar sailing performance, nor have there been major impacts from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, since team members can operate the spacecraft remotely. Oh my goodness, there's somebody at home having a remote control to a solar... Okay, that's a fun job. Good for you. That's neat. So yeah, apparently there's someone working remotely controlling a solar sail that's in a higher orbit even than the space station. That is a fun remote control car, I'll tell you that. LightSail 2 near central and eastern Australia. Oh, that's so neat. There's so many ways to explore space. You know, it doesn't have to all be so just metals. And I mean, we were even seeing some people are talking about wood satellites, just trying to come up with other things to use to help reduce pollution. This LightSail 2 image captured on the 15th of January 2020 shows central and eastern Australia, with north approximately at right. Shadows are visible from the spacecraft solar panels. The panel shadow at right appears at a different angle than expected. The bent sail deployment boom is also visible in the gap between solar sail panels and the upper left. Imaging initially identified both of these anomalies. Neither has had a significant impact on the mission. I wonder why it's at a different angle. Mysteries. Okay. Founded in 1980, the Planetary Society is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. The Society's history with solar sailing dates back to the mid-70s when co-founder Louis Friedman led a NASA effort to send a solar sail spacecraft to visit Halley's Comet. That's neat. I don't think that happened. I don't remember hearing about that. Fellow co-founder Carl Sagan promoted the concept on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson in 1976. Oh, scientists. They're getting to be cool again, right? I think they're cool now. on Johnny Carson show. The Planetary Society's first crowd-funded solar sail mission, Cosmos 1, failed to reach orbit after launching aboard a Russian rocket in 2005. That effort led to the LightSail program, which aimed to demonstrate the feasibility of solar sailing for small, standardized spacecraft called CubeSats. The LightSail 1 spacecraft carried out a successful deployment test in 2015. The LightSail program cost just $7 million from 2009 through March of 2019, an order of magnitude cheaper than the traditional space agency-funded mission. Funding was provided by contributions from 50,000 Planetary Society members, private citizens, foundations, and corporate partners. In 2015 Kickstarter campaign, the most successful space-related Kickstarter on history, raised $1.24 million via 2,500 backers. That's neat. wonder if they like wrote all their names on something and sent it up there. That's not very much hardware to write a name on. They embroidered it in the sail. There we go. That's a lot of names, though. Even a year later, I am inspired and humbled by the tens of thousands of passionate individuals who came together to make this mission a reality, said Planetary Society Chief of Operations Officer Jennifer Bong. As we celebrate the success of LightSail 2's primary mission, we're also celebrating the power of everyday people working together to explore space. It's a neat picture. All their pictures are neat pictures. Go LightSail. On the 25th of June 2019, LightSail 2 launched to space aboard a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket. Space enthusiast Stephen Marr captured the launch along with a special light painted message. Oh, that's a nice picture. Good job, Stephen Marr. It's a nice picture. So it was a private or a public funded LightSail aboard a privately owned rocket. Oh boy. All right, let's make sure we got some good companies getting people up there, because they're gonna need good people. How to see LightSail 2? Oh, in the night sky. If your latitude is within 42 degrees of the equator, there's a chance you might be able to spot LightSail 2's reflective solar sail. The LightSail 2 extended mission is expected to continue as long as the spacecraft remains healthy, or until orbit decays and the spacecraft re-enters Earth's atmosphere many months from now. Results from LightSail program are being used to inform other solar sail missions, including NASA's NEA Scout, which will hitch a ride to lunar orbit aboard the first Space Launch System and Orion flight scheduled for next year. NEA Scout will use a solar sail to leave the vicinity of the moon to visit a near-Earth asteroid. Gosh, that's so neat to think about. So not just rockets up there, but wooden boxes with satellites in them and light sails and things like that. The Planetary Society shares LightSail data with NASA through the Space Act Agreement. Team members have presented numerous papers on the mission, including at the 70th International Aeronautical Congress in Washington, D.C. in 2019, and the AIAA Science and Technology Forum Exposition in Orlando in January 2020. An article has been accepted for the special solar sailing issue for the journal Advances in Space Research, and the team will present a paper at the 34th Annual Small Satellite Conference in August. Solar sails could one day be used to propel spacecraft far beyond our solar system, possibly even other stars. A new NASA-backed project. That would be hard because you're going from one to another, so I mean, I guess if you had the momentum, okay. Just trying to figure out how that would work. just keep going. So, okay, I got it now. The new NASA-backed project is investigating how solar sail-powered spacecraft could fly faster and further away from Earth than any previous space probe, turn around, and use our destination's sun as a gravity magnifying glass to capture an image of the planet orbiting another star. Wow, that would be neat. The image would be sharp enough to see continents, oceans, and clouds. LightSail 2 provides an early technology development step towards future ambitious space science applications. So they're hoping to use one of these to get possibly our first actual image of the surface of a exoplanet. We can't quite see the continents or even, what necessarily is all in it. But they're hoping that the light sails will be able to reach farther and do that. James Webb is supposed to help if it ever goes up. The bold plan to see continents and oceans on another world. A group of researchers backed by NASA funding wants to use solar sails and the sun's gravity to capture an image of an exoplanet so sharp we can see continents, oceans, and clouds. That would be amazing. That's exciting. That was a fun article. I was like looking for more. Okay, well, good. That's really neat. It's a lot more calming to think about a LightSail exploring space than like this rocket and all of these things that are just so intense, which I'm sure that is too. So the next one here we have your guide to Crew Dragon's first astronaut flight. So this happened, what, about 6 months ago, 5 months ago? About then. The first crewed flight. They were sending stuff, but they put people in it. So at a glance, SpaceX launched NASA astronauts Bob, I don't know if I remember how to pronounce this. Bacon. I kept hearing it and I kept thinking they were saying bacon, so I think it's Becken or something like that. Bob Becken and Doug Hurley on the first crewed commercial flight to the International Space Station, ISS, on the 30th of May, 2020. They returned to Earth safely on August 2nd. The mission was a culmination of NASA's Commercial Crew Program, a public-private partnership approach to space flight resulting from policy decisions made by NASA and the White House a decade ago. You can learn why the ISS and commercial crew matter and take other actions to get involved with the Planetary Society. 9 years after the final space shuttle mission blasted off from Kennedy Space Center, humans are once again launching to orbit from the United States. On the 30th of May, NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley climbed inside a SpaceX Crew Dragon vehicle atop a Falcon 9 rocket and embarked on the world's first orbital commercial space flight with astronauts aboard. They arrived at the ISS safely less than a day later, stayed on board for roughly 2 months, and then returned to Earth on August 2nd. The mission was a culmination of NASA's Commercial Crew Program, a partnership between NASA and private industry to ferry astronauts to and from the International Space Station. Unlike previous human spaceflight programs, NASA is a customer buying rides to orbit from commercial providers like SpaceX. It does not directly own and operate the spacecraft its astronauts will fly in. At least we're getting there. Space firsts like this are rare. For NASA, it was a moment akin to John Young and Brian Crippen climbing aboard the first space shuttle flight in 1981, except this time it was a private company, not NASA, that launched the rocket. Before the launch, the last time, the new spacecraft sent a human into orbit Before the launch, the last time a new spacecraft sent a human into orbit was 2003. What? Before the launch, the last time... Oh, a new spacecraft. Okay, gotcha. I was like, Then the last time... Okay, a new spacecraft sent a human into orbit was 2003, when Yang Liu performed China's first human spaceflight aboard Shenzhou 5. For private companies, there was no comparison. Though Virgin Galactic's Spaceship Two space plane and its predecessor, Spaceship One, have carried humans beyond the boundaries of space, no company has ever launched astronauts into orbit. So this is the liftoff of Crew Dragon Demo 1. SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket lifts off from Kennedy Space Center, Florida, carrying NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley on the 30th of May, 2020. The mission, known as Demo 2, is the first human spaceflight to the International Space Station from the U.S. since the end of the Space Shuttle program in 2011. That's a SpaceX image. Oh, it's got a little bird. This is a splashdown, so the first one is them going up, and this one is them coming back down. The splashdown of Crew Dragon Demo 2, SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft splashes into the Gulf of Mexico, carrying NASA's astronauts from the International Space. Oh, there they are, all ready to go. I remember, I watched that launch, actually. I think both of them. Didn't they do one, and then they scrubbed it, and we had to then do it again? If you only have to do that once, that's not too bad. Why did this mission matter? The mission, known as Demo 2, was the first flight of every SpaceX Crew Dragon The mission, known as Demo 2, was a test flight to verify SpaceX Crew Dragon is safe to transport astronauts to the ISS. Crew Dragon previously flew to the ISS in 2019 without astronauts aboard. Since the retirement of the Space Shuttle program in 2011, NASA has relied on Russia to launch its astronauts on Soyuz vehicles. Not only is this undesirable from a U.S. political perspective, it represents a single point of failure for access to the space station. I'm combining NASA and astronauts. Not just NASA astronauts will fly aboard Crew Dragon. Japan Sachi Noguchi will be one of 4 crew members on the very next flight scheduled for September of 2020. So these are a little bit older, but there's still a lot of relevant information. Visit our commercial crew page to learn more about why and how NASA worked with private industry to create a novel approach to space flight in the wake of the Space Shuttle's retirement. Your guide to NASA's... These are really nice little articles. Commercial crew partnership between NASA and private industry to ferry astronauts to and from the space station to create a new market for humans in space. We've also got an exclusive cost comparison from NASA's commercial crew program versus the agency's prior human spaceflight programs. Spoiler alert, it's a good deal. NASA's commercial crew program is a fantastic deal. Is it now? How good of a deal. While the Soyuz can only carry 3 astronauts, commercial crew vehicles will be able to carry more. This will allow NASA and its international partners to max out the station's crew complement at 7, enabling more scientific research. Astronauts conduct research aboard the ISS that helps us learn about the effects of long-term spaceflight on the human body. They also do a lot of experience helping us learn about Earth. And what's going on with it. They also test technologies that will be needed for human missions beyond low Earth orbit. Visit our ISS page and learn more, including why the ISS shows that multiple countries and private companies can work together for peaceful exploration of space. That's the great thing about the International Space Station, is it is people from all kinds of countries and stuff working together. It's nice that we're continuing to be able to get up there. International Space Station preparing for humans for deep space exploration. NASA and its worldwide partners use the International Space Station to prepare humans for deep space exploration. Dig deeper. We dedicated 2 episodes of our flagship podcast, Planetary Radio, to this historical event. Former NASA Associate Administrator Lori Garver joined our May 6th episode to look back at the origins of the commercial crew program. As NASA's Associate Administrator under President Barack Obama, Garver was one of the strongest advocates for the commercial space development. Former NASA astronaut, they're in there. Oh yeah, you can listen to the podcast there. Okay. Former NASA astronaut and current SpaceX senior advisor Garrett Reisman joined our May 20th episode to give us exclusive preview of the Crew Dragon mission. Reisman was a NASA astronaut who made 2 space shuttle flights to the ISS. During the first, he served aboard the station for 3 months. The Planetary Society believes that NASA should create a pathway for the U.S. private sector to take on activities previously led by the government and in low Earth orbit. This will enable NASA to focus its resources on sending humans farther out into space and helps foster a vibrant, exciting new industry for the nation. See more about our principles for human spaceflight. Get involved. The mission may have ended, but there's so much more to explore. The Planetary Society shares updates from programs like the International Space Station and Commercial Crew to foster public knowledge for space exploration, which helps build support for space science and exploration. Sign up for our weekly newsletter, the downlink to receive updates on their other missions, plus get exciting space images, shareable facts, and actions you can take to be a better space advocate. I should probably sign up. You can also share this page, learn more. You want to get started right now, visit our Action Center to see what you can do right now to take part in your community and with your government to support and with your government to support space exploration. There's the little link to the Action Center. Whether it's advocating, teaching, inspiring, or learning, you can do something for space right now. Let's get to work. Finally, if you've ever dreamed of being an astronaut, you'll want to try SpaceX Crew Dragon Docking Simulator. This free game lets you work with the same control interface that NASA astronauts use to manually pilot Crew Dragon. Ordinarily, docking at the International Space Station are automated, but the astronauts can take manual control if needed. Neat. Lots of ways to get involved and continue learning. And a lot of them are becoming private, so, it's good to give them, a little bit of exposure. The next one, so it looks like we have 2, maybe 3 left. I think these ones are shorter, maybe. The next one, can the moon be upside down? This was written by Katie Howells, September 25th of 2020. And it features a beautiful image of the moon. Which way, hold on, which way up does the moon face? Okay, that's what I thought it said. Which way up does the moon face? Where is its top and bottom? The answer to these questions depends on your latitude. Did you know that the moon looks different from Earth's northern and southern hemispheres? Someone looking at the moon from the North Pole would see it upside down compared to someone seeing it from the South Pole. And someone on the equator would see it in various orientations throughout the day. This fact is as fascinating as it is mind-bending, so let's try to wrap our heads around it. Because the moon orbits the Earth around, though not directly in line with the Earth's equator, when you are on either side of the Earth's poles, the moon will never appear overhead. Rather, it will always be relatively close to the horizon, and you'll perceive the side closest to the ground as its bottom. Because a person standing on Earth's North Pole is upside down compared to someone on the South Pole, their perspective of the moon would be upside down as well. So does that mean the man on the moon would be standing on his head? Yeah? That's neat. So is there like another picture for that perspective? Like it's like an ice cream cone or something. Different perspectives, that's a neat picture. Different perspectives of the moon. From Earth's northern hemisphere, the moon's north pole appears at top. From Earth's southern hemisphere, the moon's south pole appears at top. It's all a matter of perspective. This difference is pretty easy to intuitively understand. The complicated part is what happens when you move closer to the equator. It's important to note here that the moon doesn't orbit the Earth perfectly in line with our equator. There are a few things going on here. The Earth's axis is tilted. The moon's orbit is tilted. And everything is always moving and changing. But for simplicity's sake, let's pretend that the moon orbits the Earth around the equator. This will make it easier to understand without changing any major conclusions about how we see the moon from different latitudes. In this case, if you're standing somewhere along the Earth's equator as the Earth rotated, the moon would rise in the east, pass directly overhead, and then set in the west. From this perspective, as the moon rose, it would have a top and bottom relative to the horizon, like it does from any perspective on Earth. But after passing directly overhead, the moon would set on the opposite side of the sky from where it rose. At that point, it would have the opposite orientation compared to the horizon. So if you asked a person who lived on the equator which part of the moon was the top, they would ask you, at what time? Oh yeah, that is hard to wrap your head around. Another strange thing about seeing the moon from this perspective is that its orientation when it rose and set would both look sideways compared to what you'd see near either of the poles. View from equator at moonset. view from equator at moonrise. Yeah. Huh. It changes. The moon seen from its orbital plane. On the left, the full moon as seen from the equator at moonset on the western horizon. On the right, the full moon as seen from the equator at moonrise on the eastern horizon. If you traveled north from this middle point, you'd start to see the moon rise and set further south in the sky. Then when you looked at the moon, there would be an obvious top and bottom that would be consistent over the course of the apparent crossing of the sky. Likewise, if you go south from the equator, you'll see the moon rise and set in the northern sky. Again, you'll see an obvious top and bottom to the moon. But it will be the opposite orientation from how you saw it when you were on the far north, from its orbital plane. View from northern hemisphere, view from southern hemisphere. Huh, yeah, it's upside down. The moon seen from the poles. One on the left, the full moon as it would be seen from the North Pole. On the right, the full moon as it would be seen from the South Pole. The difference between the orientations happens gradually. When you travel just a short distance from the equator, the moon will rise more and less. The moon will rise more or less due east and set more or less due west. And in between will appear almost directly overhead. But as you travel further north or south, it will start to appear farther south or north in the sky, respectively. We need a video too. This is all a bit tricky to wrap your head around, especially when you take into account the slight changes that Earth's tilted axis create, plus all the various moving parts, Earth rotating, the moon orbiting the Earth, and the Earth orbiting the sun. It's a great reminder that even something as seemingly simple as our moon is part of a complex and dynamic system. This phenomenon happens with other celestial objects as well. As long as they lie near Earth's orbital plane, which the moon lies near, though not on, Jupiter, for instance, can look upside down from the North Pole compared to how it looks from the South Pole. What's more, its stripes look horizontal when seen near the horizon. Oh, yeah, I guess I have seen it. Oh, geez, okay. I never really thought much about them all looking so different. Okay, in both the northern and southern hemispheres of the Earth. But from the equator, rising Jupiter stripes are vertical. Moon features you can see from Earth. What can you see on the moon tonight? This guide from the Planetary Society will help you identify some of the features. And then when you travel, you'll have to learn them all upside down. Okay, we have two more. One more. Oh, okay, one more. This one was just on the recommended list, and it is this year's best space gifts according to our members. Let's see what they like. Searching for this is also by Katie Howells, November 10th, 2020. The Planetary Society's 2020 gift guide. Searching for a gift for someone who loves space, there's nothing better to guide you than the people who love space the most. We asked Planetary Society members what they'd want to receive this year, and here's what they told us. The Pioneer Pin Plaque, or Plaque Pin. Let's go down and look at it before I... Oh. Huh. I wonder what all is the pin. It's probably just the middle panel there, you think? That's pretty. That's what we sent up. Artist Dwayne King created this limited edition brass pin to commemorate the Pioneer plaque. NASA's Pioneer 10 spacecraft launched in 1972 to explore the outer solar system and beyond. Carried with it this poetic and ambitious piece of visual communication. The plaque, designed by Frank Drake and Carl Sagan, with artwork by Linda Salzman. Sagan serves as a cosmic greeting card, communicating where and when and who we are to any advanced extraterrestrials who might encounter it. Anyone who appreciates this cosmic gesture would love this pin, commemorating the vision and adventurous spirit that defines humanity at its best. Ships only in the U.S. Well, does it? I think I've seen it outside the U.S. Yeah, that is neat. Okay. A telescope. Any telescope. I can agree with this one if you have a space person who doesn't have a telescope. If the person in your life who loves space doesn't already have their own telescope, it's probably time to change that. Looking through your own telescope connects you to the cosmos like nothing else. Depending on budget, location, and the kind of objects you wish to observe, there are several options for which telescopes to buy. There are several options for which telescopes to buy. Luckily, we have a handy guide for choosing the perfect beginner's telescope, which includes some recommendations for specific models. To complete this gift, share some tips. Tips for beginners. That's nice, a telescope and some tips. There's a image of the moon from his small telescopes. That's the thing. It doesn't even have to be that good of a telescope. Seeing the moon through just binoculars is, some binoculars can be really good. But even a small telescope, it's worth it. It's amazing. This was an 8-inch reflector telescope that got that image. The Lego International Space Station. Ooh, I didn't know they had one of those. Ooh. Would you put that together? Yeah. The Lego International Space Station. There's nothing like a gift that you can play with right away, and this one is sure to keep whoever receives it busy for quite some time. This 864-piece Lego model of the International Space Station comes with a dockable space shuttle, a satellite that can be deployed, and an astronaut to perform daring spacewalks. So the fun doesn't have to stop once it's assembled.
Just one astronaut?
Just one. Got to get them independent companies sending more people. Just one guy for now. The Lego International Space Station. You can't go wrong with books. Giving a space lover a book about space is like adding mass to a star. It fuels the fire. Over the course of this year, our podcast and radio show, Planetary Radio, has highlighted some great books about the cosmos. You can learn more about each book on our show pages. The End of Everything, Sirens of Mars, Beyond Earth's Edge. I haven't read any of those. I also recommend The Martian Chronicles. If you're shopping for a youngster, we recommend our own chief scientist Bruce Bett's most recent children's book, Space Exploration for Kids, a junior scientist guide to astronauts, rockets, and life in zero gravity. Want something full of pretty pictures that will look great on your coffee table? Check out Voyager, photographs from humanity's greatest journey for gorgeous images from Voyager probe's grand tour of the outer planets. Cosmic comfort. We're going cozy and comfy with this year's wearable gift ideas from Savannah. For adults, we love these solar system leggings depicting the worlds in our cosmic neighborhood. For kids, these moon phase pajamas are extra fun because they glow in the dark. You know, I gotta say, I wouldn't mind the moon ones either. I could wear kid size, get a large. There we go. Legs and pajamas, planetary pins. Those are always fun. Ooh, those are good ones. This gorgeous set of enamel pins from Savannah depicts our solar system in striking shapes and colors. You have the option to buy your loved one their favorite world, or if you're not sure which is their favorite, you should ask them. You can always buy the whole set. Oh, they have the little heart, kind of, for Pluto. Oh, and they have the hexagon on Saturn and the spot on Jupiter. Let's see. And they have it's pretty detailed. It's pretty neat. Very neat. Fuel for imagination. Teens, adults, and talented kids will love this spacey coloring book from Creative Haven, featuring 31 full-page illustrations of swirling nebulas, asteroid fields, mysterious planets, solar flares, and much more. With easy torn-out pages, every work of art can double as a poster. Ooh. Did they say this is for kids? Because, yeah, I was going to say this is adults would like this too. It's very relaxing. People need coping skills right now. There is nothing wrong with adult coloring. It's very therapeutic. A pale blue dot pin. Oh, I haven't seen that one. Can you tell that our members love pins? Yes. This special pin commemorates another of the most meaningful and thought-provoking touch points of space exploration, the pale blue dot. It is a very good poem. Although the pin itself is very simple, it could mean a great deal to the wearer if they're familiar with the iconic image taken by NASA's Voyager 1 spacecraft from 6.4 billion kilometers, 4 billion miles away. Carl Sagan famously mused about how fragile our little home planet looks like in this image, reminding us to take care of our world. Accordingly, 50% of profits from these pins are donated to climate justice organizations. That's here, that's us, that's home. Deck the walls. The Planetary Society partnered with Chop Shop to create this series of 3 posters. Oh, those are neat! Oh, those are adorable. I'm going to take just a second. So you have... Oh, that's really cute. They could almost make like a comic book out of that. Let me start over. The Planetary Society partnered with Chop Shop to create this series of 3 posters for kids, or playful adults. The posters show NASA's Voyager spacecraft Cassini, Orbiter, and Mars rovers. The screen-printed versions of these posters also glow in the dark, making any bedroom at night feel like the dark, vast expanse of space with the glowing poster. Oh, is that what they look like at night? Oh, yeah, that does look neat. I thought it would have like the red glow. I didn't scroll the whole way down. Mars rover. Yeah, that must be, yeah, that's Curiosity then, because I don't have Perseverance. They wouldn't do that yet. Yeah, that one's neat. Cuddle up with the red planet. If you know someone who loves Mars so much that they just want to give it a hug, we've got the perfect gift for them. Hug a Planet's plush Mars globe shows the names of craters, valleys from other landforms, and comes with a Mars fact sheet. The shell is a sewn-in hanging loop, making it as good to display as it is to snuggle up with. Oh, neat. A little Mars globe. Hug a planet from Mars. Hug a planet Mars. Engrave a name at our headquarters. If you want to choose a gift that will make a lasting impression, there's no better choice than to buy a custom inscribed brick with your loved one's name on it. With your loved one's name on it.
So there's a couple people in chat.
So
Richard Mill E says, "Hi, Queen," and Sliaga asks, "Do you read chat?"
Oh, I try to. Well, hello, and thank you for joining us at the end of our article-a-thon. Yeah, if people want to chime in while I'm reading, I am more than happy to answer questions or take chats and things like that. We've been on Twitch for a little while, and it's restreams get seen, but chats aren't usually too active, so I just kind of focus on the reading. But if you have a question or a comment or anything you'd like to share, we do have the ability to respond and things like that in the chat. Okay, so engraving your name at the Planetary Society. Is to be placed in the pavement of the Planetary Society's headquarters in Pasadena, California. Every time visitors come to take a tour or meet with our CEO, Bill Nye, they'll pass by an enduring commemoration of your loved one's passion for the exploration of the cosmos. This would be a lovely thing to do, like in memorandum of someone as well. It's a very sweet thing. Planetary Society bricks. Planetary Society members show their support by purchasing bricks to place at their headquarters in Pasadena, California. Solar system style. European shoppers can stock up on planetary gifts from the European Space Agency's online store, featuring awesome apparel like this. I love descriptive words like awesome and exciting. They're fun to read because I know what they're trying to get across. Featuring awesome apparel like this Jupiter hoodie, as well as mugs, tote bags, baby clothes, and much more, each adorned with the world of choice. Oh, the world of your choice. I was gonna say, how are you going to put a world of choice on a t-shirt? A world of your choice. The only hard part, resisting the temptation to buy the whole set. Ooh, yeah, a little comfy Jupiter hoodie. They got the 1, 2, 3, 4. They got the Jovian planets on there.
Moons.
Or yeah, moons. Some of the clouds. Looks like maybe that could be a red spot interpretation. A brighter future for space science and exploration. One gift really never goes out of style. A membership to the Planetary Society. The person you're buying for will officially become a part of the effort to increase discoveries in our solar system and beyond, elevate the search for life outside our planet, and decrease the risk of Earth being hit by an asteroid. That took a dark turn. Okay. Oh, and then we're ending there. All right. Cliffhanger. Yeah, I was a member of the Planetary Society as well. That was one of the first organizations that I joined when I first started wanting to get involved or learn about astronomy. I just joined a bunch of organizations, and a couple of them stuck. The Planetary Society was always the one that had events, and it was really fun. You could go to them, and they'd have Bill Nye there, and different guests come in, and different, just celebrations of things. And then I ended up going over to the Griffith Observatory, and they have their whole other things that we do. So this was really fun. We did how many articles today? I think that was 7. 7 articles? 6? Okay, that's our record. All right, so it looks like a couple of people were in chat, so thanks for joining us. And if you all have any topics, I'd love to hear what you'd be interested in hearing about. I wouldn't mind doing another reading on asteroid mining. I'm not really happy with the articles that I have found, so I'm still looking for better asteroid mining articles. What else have I been interested in lately? Aliens. I know. I want to find us some aliens. I really do. Ideally, I'll keep reading these articles, and we're going to get closer and closer each article to finding aliens. Like right now, we're learning about, missions to possibly go back to Venus and look for microbes in the clouds, or missions to explore the subsurface ocean on Europa. So right now, we're talking about these missions that are going to go do these things, and then when they're there, then we can start talking about what they're finding. So far, the Curiosity rover that went to Mars did find the Schnapps elements, and so far it hasn't found anything that doesn't support the possibility that Mars could have at one time harbored life and possibly still have it deep down, subsurface. We're definitely looking, and in February, Perseverance will land on Mars and kind of continue that search for Mars microbes or fossils or whatever we can find. And I think they're openly saying they're looking for life, aren't they? It's not one of these, we're trying to find out how old it is, secretly trying to find aliens. Like, they're just straight up saying we're looking for evidence of life at one time on Mars. So we're getting close. So I'll keep doing articles, and yeah. Okay. I gotta go drink some water. You probably should too.